Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Twin Cities Film Fest. We're here for the 2016 edition. It's day 2 at the onset of our evening programming. I am so excited to be back. I'm one of your hosts this year again, Doug Sidney. We're on the Twin Cities sponsored official red carpet. I am lucky enough to be joined by producer Serin Marshall, whose documentary, Have a Baby, is just about to screen. We're so fortunate to have you to be able to speak with you today. Tell us a little bit about your film.
Sure. So we filmed a contest in 2013 in Las Vegas called the I Believe Contest, where couples competed online to try to win a free cycle of in vitro fertilization. And we first learned about the contest. Amanda McKaylee, the director, was actually going through infertility herself, and we were in Weeki Wachee, Florida at a mermaid camp on a totally different project, and she started telling me about the struggles she was going through with her husband, and just how surprised she was, even though she had friends who'd gone through it. She just really didn't realize what it was going to be like until she was going through it, and also she really was unaware of the financial burdens. And she read an article in the New York Times about this contest in Las Vegas and asking if it was exploitative, and as we started talking about it, we said, well, here's a way to tell the story, and here's a framework, and here's a way to kind of a lens, into this issue, and a way to kind of do it. So we called up the clinic, and Dr. Jeffrey Serin kind of thought access would be an issue, and they said, come on down. So 2 days later, we flew to Las Vegas and met with the doctor and started filming at the clinic, and quickly went from there.
Amazing. What did you discover about we'll call them contestants, I guess. What did you discover in all of those interviews and spending all of that time with them? Because obviously we were able to see clips prior to, and contestants were invited to self-submit prior to, as Dr. Scher made his decision. What did you encounter with all these different types of contestants?
Well, what was interesting to me is though the contest, there's a huge range of people, which is part of what appealed to us about telling the story through the contest. If we went to a clinic in San Francisco where we're from, it's, the diversity is not as great, but here was people all over the country. And it was also people who couldn't afford it, which often people, I think of in vitro fertilization as sort of women who've waited too long and are career women and having trouble. But these were all people who were, for the most part, much younger, who had medical conditions, and also just, knew the treatment they needed and just couldn't afford it. A lot of people say, I didn't really have that much interest in going to see this movie, frankly, but my wife or friend or cousin, dragged me to it, and they left in tears, and said, and it, I think there's been a real emotional response, and I think people have left with a different understanding of infertility than they had before, which is ultimately the best thing you could hope for in a documentary film. So.
Specifically, what's it like having your documentary play here at the Twin Cities Film Fest?
Oh, it's very exciting, and particularly I'm from Minneapolis, so I am so happy to be back in the Twin Cities and to recruit all my friends to come. So, and actually, I know a lot of people who have dealt with IVF in Minneapolis, so I feel like I've recruited a big community of people. But it's really exciting. We have a lot of crew because we had 2 of our main characters were from Green Bay, Wisconsin. So we had a camera person and a sound person in Minneapolis who did the drive back and forth. So we feel like it's a homecoming of sorts, and really excited to be at this festival, which is just, I'm happy for Minneapolis that it has such a great celebrating film in such a great way.
Well, we're so glad to have you. There are even some contestants that are from Minneapolis that were a part of the film, which is neat. I think we might even have a chance to speak to them. Can't thank you enough for being here. We are going to continue our day 2 coverage here on the official Twin Cities Film Fest red carpet here at the Showplace Icon Theater. I'm one of your hosts again, Doug Sidney. We'll see you again soon.